Hi guys, my name is Umit. I came from Turkey here, and when I first started programming, like I was using BASIC. I only remember input, nothing else. Maybe you remember more. Back in that day, what really hit me when you write your code and computer runs something and produce result, and then come on, Umit, you can actually command the computer, instruct it, and then it answers your, questions or whatever you want. Then after that, I run just one compilation on the computer because I was 15 years old. There was no computer. It was probably Windows 3.1. You maybe remember that. And it was running on Intel 386 or 46 and 2 megabyte RAM, not like today. And it was so expensive back in that day, right? And then I decided, oh, that's so beautiful. I want to learn this more. But I didn't have the chance to learn more because it's economic things. Then I studied electronic engineering and I became IT teacher after that in Turkey. And I realized that I can't stop there, I have to do more, I have to learn more. So then I decided to study my PhD overseas. But back in that time, it looked like it was impossible, you maybe understand me why it wasn't impossible. It was impossible. But I decided, I want to do it. I want to go out and learn more, do more. Then came here, started learning English. So over 3 years, like it took me 3 years to start even speaking. I didn't have any language skills back in that. Then I studied. It was a good time for me. I studied here. I learned a lot of things from university here. Then, like, I was working as a contractor. So all the web development stuff like ASP.NET, web forms, PHP, Java servlets, I've done everything. And then I look at the mobile developers. They're doing good, They're using only few tools, develop something. But whereas I was using a lot of tools, like I have to learn a lot of things back in that days, like a lot of frameworks out there, and then you have to pick one to learn and then do stuff, and then while you're doing that, that framework maybe doesn't exist anymore. And all right, I want to do mobile development. I want to do that. And then I started in 2012 with Android because it was cheap and easy. Not easy, but I knew Java, so I started from there. I developed a few Android apps, and then I started learning and developing after Swift introduced. I built a few iOS applications there. Then realized that, look, something out there must be, so I can write one time and then build two platforms. And I researched about that. I Googled it. And then Xamarin came up. I downloaded it. I created my first project, and then I look at the code. There was no xamarin.forms back in that time. Anyway, everything was native. And because I got used to all the convention in Java and then Swift, I couldn't find it. No, it was Java, not Swift. Yeah, I couldn't find that conventions, and then I stopped there. And then later, I attended a few xamarin meetups back in the time. There were maybe Kim there, Clinton there, like few other people. I'm not sure whether they are here still. And yeah, like went to all the meetups, and then look, I think then after that I started my PhD, then realized that I could use C# to write Unity and HoloLens stuff and VR and do mobile applications as well. It was before Microsoft acquired Xamarin. Then what I did, all right, Umit, look, focus on this, just one language, do everything, all right? Just get used to it. And I started building application. Now, the first application that I built for a hospital, they're assisting people with aphasia. Anyone knows what is aphasia? Okay, yeah. You got a stroke, and then that stroke causes totally stops or changes your communication skills. You're intelligent there, but what you see, what you read, like meaningless. What you talk even sometimes. So the researchers came up with the idea, and then they asked me to support, and I started writing for my first commercial Xamarin app there. Then, yeah, my dream came through, came true. I was doing something that I love, and I'm here doing something. And today, even further, so talking to you, and then explaining, well, probably I will explain what I did, and I hope you're gonna take something today, and you maybe use it, or maybe in the future, all right, remember this from some talk, and then start using it. Does anyone have any questions? It's a different starting, yeah? Yeah, so first I want to show you what I've got. Oh, there's a thing. I started that here. Yeah. Where device? Picture here. Alt. Come back. Yeah. This is the app now I'm working on. I'm working for Incolink, and Incolink is a redundancy button. They're managing redundancy for construction workers and metal workers. So workers building all the skyscrapers and like other commercial buildings and roads and bridges, sort of. We are non-profit organizations. So let me show you what it does. We got two categories to log in. Yeah, I already logged in because of the privacy. And I, do this. Set up later. This is the animation, so that I use Lottie here. I'm gonna show you how I use it. And then here will be text, but in simulator we can't see it. So before every request, I use that animation. Though initially I was using progress bar, but I stopped using it. This is more cooler. And also it's lightweight. A few animations here, but these are the normal like X animations, like height animations, and nothing very special here. Right, the master detail page. It's kind of structure. Let's show you the app, what it does. How I organize it. what I do, like I do full stack development here. I wrote the API that feeds my app using ASP.NET Core, so latest and greatest. Yeah, I'm lucky, I think. And if you look, probably you can't see that, yeah? Can you see this? Small, yeah? So, does anyone have any idea how to zoom this? Yeah. Magnifier, what is that?
Just go down to the stuff up.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yep. If you look at the structures, everything is there, like all the animation within one folder, behaviors, controls. Like this is a good style to me, but it could be better. I started learning Angular, then I really like this structure. They have everything together, like all the CSS, HTML, all the classes within a folder, so you can find easily. With the Prism, the first thing, so if you wanna use Prism, so first thing you should do, you should download all the extensions, all the snippets, extension and then updates. Search this here. So then the productivity will increase with these tools. This one, and this is new, never tried it, but just saw it today. You can use it and try it. And I suggest to download these two. Like, I didn't download it. Yeah, okay. And then this one, it gives you like all the snippets that you need to create properties, all the comments and everything. All right. So after that, obviously you have to include the NuGet package. The unit is like supporting .NET standard, so it's latest and greatest as well. What I use here, the Lottie, Google Analytics or App Center Analytics, and it crashes. And the Poly and Refit, and a few things like maps and scanner. So I want to start with the Prism, because Prism, I've been using Prism for like more than 2 years now, starting with version 6, now version 7. It's now more even cooler. They're charging money now. They started charging money, but for support, obviously, it's still free. For support, you have to sign up with the patron.com, something like that. So you're basically supporting them. It's like open source still. After you've done that, what it changes. Oops. Okay. Let me check that. then you have to inherit Prism application, then it brings these two and plus these ones. So the register types where you register all your pages and view models and all the dependency that you're gonna use. Okay. When I started, it's good to have, when you start, it's good to have a base view model. So it's gonna, like, I made it abstract because no one will use it. And if you see that a lot of interfaces that I'm implementing here in the base class, I found this is a good, because when you implement here, then you make all the methods as virtual, so you can override them if you really want them. Otherwise, you keep inheriting all the interfaces. iNavigation aware. So let's start with the navigation. iNavigation aware. It gives you the life cycle of navigating from one page to another page. Okay. When you're moving from one page to another page, it calls the navigating to, let's say you're moving from page A to page B, all right? Page A, when you hit the button to move to page B, it's gonna hit the navigating to on page B when after it is initialized. And after that, it's gonna hit the navigation from page A. Then on navigated to on page B. So this is where you pass all the parameters from one page to another page. So, right. This is how it does the navigations. You just basically give it to, like, it's like a URL, you know, and then basically you pass the page and then it brings the page to you. All right, I can tell you here. When you go to next page, if you let's think about this. You have a list presenting one page, and then you click one of this item, and then on the other page you want to show the details, yeah. But sometimes the details come later or it delays. So what I found out that here I need to be able to use like some sort of animation there, right? To do that. Let's open this one. To do that, I use isBusy property and then binding that property into yeah. Not responding. That's good. All right. So first, I just want to mention here like some drawbacks. Like iOS and on Android, so like they have like soft back button, and Android sometimes they have hardware back button and soft back button. There's something here, like when you press the back button, really there's a on navigating to method there, so you wanna trigger that method. But when you press those, either soft back button or hard back button, it won't trigger that method. It's the only thing that I found here like really frustrating. But luckily within this app, I didn't use too much that. Other than that, it's good. And obviously to me, maybe the conventions like navigating from one page to another page, it looks good to me and it does what I want. Yeah, it opened here. This is where I show the animations, like disabling, like making invisible the list view based on its busy property, and then making visible the animation view. This is Lottie. So after you add the Lottie, there's nothing too much for you to do. Basically, you just find your Lottie file, which is files. You can either search here, you know, with my one I changed the color. You know, I open the JSON. You just basically download the JSON file. You just make sure that you download that file and then place that into platform specific resource files, into resource files. Like for Android it's assets, like you got it here. Yes, as an asset, it does everything automatically for you. You don't need to choose anything here. Like once you, let's say, add new existing item, just drop in here and then that's it. The other one is here for iOS resources. The same thing. It comes with bundle resources, and basically the file name. Okay, just basically passing the file name. You can do a lot of cool things, like, but I'm not using here most of them. Like when the animation start, you can control it when it should start, when it should stop, and then when it stops, you can get feedback from the animation, like, yeah, I finished this animation. So it's cool. Maybe you using, maybe you planning to use. It's good, good framework. And if you have like experience with After Effects, you can actually create these animations yourself. Animation looks like this. The loading animation, actually this one. Yeah. It's basically the After Effect. Yeah, it just letters and the numbers, and yep, encrypted somewhere. So After Effects converts this from its, when you create After Effects file, and then they've got a plugin, right? Just basically right click and then convert this to Lottie file or whatever. It's easy. I wanna go back to where I left. So yep. I want to talk about the commands as well. Trying to find the place. Yeah, so anyone should have commands. Yeah. If you, it's so easy to create a command after you download the Prism snippets. It's just basically cmd and tab. It generates these. Not this one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. It generates these three things. It's really like productivity increase here. So I use a lot. So what I can tell you here, if you're using async task here, executing like some async method, then you have to think carefully, because iOS, I couldn't make it happen. If you double tap on a button, even though you disable it as soon as like you hit the button. But Android, I did it. But even though I disable it, I was able to trigger 2 times the same action. So you need to be careful with Android. To prevent that, what you can use, there's a login page. Oops, yeah. I don't use it here. Landing, okay, landing. No, I myself didn't use here, but it was earlier time. So what we need to use here, like use private, let's say a field task, and this it just task. All right. So a method task which will something to say action, and then what it does, it basically will check the task whether it's null or task dot completed, or maybe cancel even. Okay. If it's null a task or completed, we can run that task again. So basically what I do here, this, and then return task otherwise. This is going to prevent from you invoking 2 times or more times the task. Like if the user hits that button more times, doesn't matter, always returning the same task. This is one thing. And the other beautiful things with Prism is that, okay, where's this? Right, they can execute the command, like you bind the command to a button, but you want to observe some properties, whether I can execute this button or not, right? So basically what you are doing is just can login. There's a method here like calling, but it shouldn't be busy, and also internet should be available. So in this case, however, with Prism, right, observes these properties. What it does, like it observes those properties and then look at that if there's a changes here. Any changes, it will reevaluate. Can log in. Can log in here. Should be here. Or, yeah, here. It reevaluate this can log in. Yeah. Anytime any of these changes, it observes property. When you create a command, so you basically observes these properties, so then reevaluate the can login. Right. The commands like that, if you want to pass the parameters of the command, basically, so you use this or like integer, how you want, but most is string because you're binding XAML. Yeah, it's most string. So any questions so far? Any? No?
I have a question about the animation. In the example where you found that it is visible property, but the auto start and the is playing we just set to true. So is it clever enough to know to start when it's visible, or is it already running in the background?
Yeah, like I left it like that because it was my first try there. You know, Lottie. And then I made it work. As soon as I made it work, I stopped there and then, all right, go ahead. Otherwise, you come back and then, yeah, definitely.
I was just wondering whether it, like I said,
yeah, you can.
Internally knew.
Yeah.
It's not visible.
Yeah. Because you have the power. You know there's busy property. You can watch that property. So based on that property, you bind that to play.
Yeah.
You know those places. But yeah, didn't try that. But maybe when I come back, I go back to code and then fix those things. But definitely you can do anything you want from there. You can start, you can stop. What I try to do here, like I try to separate the view, like let's say like controlling view of everything, like changing heights, changing colors and everything. I try to handle everything on the view side. If I need something, I use converter to fix those things, like based on a value, coming value, and then like try to really separate like the view models. So, and there's nothing like in my view models like saying that is like red color or green color, nothing like that. So try to put everything on the view side. It's not always easy, but with use of converters, kind of easy. Like, you can handle those things. All right.
Well, it's kind of related. So you're using Lottie now, but Lottie is fairly new. Have you been through a bunch of different methods of loading GIFs, loading things in the past, and have they always frustrated you?
No.
What have you done? Did you just always hit the plain activity?
With the Android, you can, and an iOS, like you can set a few images and then you can loop them.
Yeah.
But other than that, like never tried that before. Yeah, but with Lottie, you see, it's cool. Start using it. But obviously, if depend, I think on your application. I believe if your application like really like consuming a lot of resources and if this will affect your application, try to find something else. Otherwise, here I've got a lot of resources. My app is not heavy duty, so I start using it. Then I left. So we got commands, and sometimes you want to use a mechanism like that calls, like that sends a message from somewhere to somewhere. So we got messaging server or messaging services. But like that, in Prism, we have event aggregator. What it does, it just publish an event, and anything like subscribe to that event receives that message and work accordingly. I want to show you, so like I've got events here, like all the events, they are like Prism events. You can't see that. I'll make it, you can see it. Okay. I have events here, but most of them like just to define that event, mostly empty, nothing else. But behind the scene, this class implements a lot of things that we need. If this is just event sending nothing, just all right, this happens, do it, whatever you want. You can work from xamarin core to platform specific, like sending from xamarin core to platform specific. Also, you can send messages from platform specific, let's say iOS and Android, to core, both ways. To do that, you just basically go to your platform specific code, and then within that code, where you initialize your Android, you just basically grab that event aggregator from application class. Then and after that, you can start, all right, I want to receive event with a barcode in use, because I don't want to initialize that if no one is using it. Or map in use. I just want to initialize map if they want to use it. And the status bar color, like I'm keep changing them, so I'm handling on the Android side using events. Okay, event aggregator. Sending color, and then updating the color. Yeah. Obviously, don't forget to unsubscribe from events. So your app won't crash. So for example, here, I received an event saying that, all right, your barcode scanner should be ready now, because now the user will use it. Now the time initialize it, not before. And then map the same, and then the bar color, status bar, definition. I can't find it somehow. And when I stop, basically. Right. The only time that I use this event aggregator from platform specific to xamarin core, so where I hit the problem that Power saver state enabled. Before that, no idea like what's happening. And then one day, our tester came to me and then look, my I can't log in, right? Because to log in, there's animation there. It just brings something over your screen, and you have to hit the accept so you can log in. But animation didn't work. So this animation just basically taking the frame from somewhere that not visible to a visible place. All right? But it didn't work because of that on Android. not iOS, on an Android. An Android, but with specific version, not below and another after, like Android 7, or Android 8. Anyway, from that, like, I have to use broadcast receiver to get the state. Then as soon as I receive that broadcast, like, all right, power saver state is ready, I just publish an event from PSL or from platform specific file project to core project, and then present information saying that, all right, you're in now power saver state mode. The app may not work as intended. Luckily, just 3 weeks later, because I was searching that, Xamarin team fixed that problem with the new update. So didn't have to work on it, all right? Because I was planning to disable all the animations and then present the default values and then stop there, no animation at all. But luckily with Android team, like, they fixed that. Next release, there, no need to worry. With event aggregator, just what I can tell you, like, if you start using it, you keep writing, but a lot of it, events moving around. So you kind of lose track of them. So I suggest you put some notes somewhere. So which event going where and which page publishing which event. So then I started thinking, all right, and don't be generous using events. So it's kind of messy. And I stopped using it at one point, and this is for event aggregator, like using it within a core project. It's even easier because the first thing you have to do, you don't have to do anything. It's already registered with the initializations. You don't have to do anything, but basically, if you want to use it somewhere within constructor, you just put it there. It's gonna initialize and then give it to you, event aggregator. And if whenever you need it, you can start using it. And then next thing, what else we got? With navigation services, if you want to really test it, you want to do unit tests on the navigation services, because it's using extension methods. Because they are static, you can't mock them up. So what I use here as a trick is unit testing running. But to do that in the base model, base view model, I use iTestable and then implement this iTestable. What's this? Yeah, here. So you probably know this, like outside, you can't really see this, but you have to explicitly tell the compiler, okay, I know what I'm doing, bring it to me. So in the unit test, basically, every time, because it's base class, you just call this whenever you need to test. Otherwise, I couldn't find any other solution, so I use this. When you implement iNavigation aware, it gives you like navigation cycle, but not only you use it for view models, you can also use iNavigation aware on view models, your views on the views. So you just need to inherit that some. Trying to find it use place, so I use that. Okay. Because there's a funny problem with Prism. If you're using behaviors, looking page, I think. If you're using behaviors somewhere, when you go back, the app crashing. So before leaving the page, before destroying the page, you have to remove all the behaviors. Behaviors also, no, just behaviors from your views. To do that, I use iNavigation aware, but you can use any other things, but I like that. Just, I know that when it's gonna be triggered, so I can use it. I've removed it. So everything, like iNavigation aware, iDestructible, I am active aware, all the interfaces that Prism using, you can also inherit those interfaces from views. So it's good because you have control on your view. Because sometimes like you need some parameters to calculate something on the screen. Let's say like you got big text, but sometimes less text. So you don't want to leave too much space for small text. And sometimes like you need that, all right? Then you can use navigation aware. So you get the parameters. You can see the value, and then based on the value, you can calculate it. So with Prism, yay, the services, I really like here. The reason behind that, like, you all know dependency injections. So because of that, you're just inverting all the controls. Yeah, there's a plugin, doing the plugin to your app. Let's say today I'm using ZXing as a barcode scanner, but tomorrow, all right, let's start using ScanBot. All right. To do that, if you're using the GitHub, like kind of, they explain that they give you some snippet to include your app. If you're using that, you're just writing the same code everywhere. But if you're using dependency injection, you're just abstracting that thing from your everywhere from within your application, and then you start using just your abstractions, your interfaces. And also what I see here, sometimes of any framework, they expose a lot of things, a lot of methods, but what I found that instead of exposing everything, you just expose within your interface just whatever you are using. For example, in a barcode scanner, what I use, just one method, returning string. All right, it does a lot of things, but I only use this one. So what I did, I just, all right, give me the string, what you read. I don't care how you do it, you know. And also you can unit test this, you can mock this. And an actual implementation is here with the barcode scanner. What it does first, all right, Android, get ready. I'm gonna be using I'm gonna be using barcode scanner. So initialize it. This is how I did, like publish and Android, all right, now initialize. So after that, this is the code that comes with this GitHub page. You write your code here, like that code here, not anywhere else in your app. So you're protecting your app. Like tomorrow, if you want to change your barcode scanner from something to something, you come here and then change this method and reference the new package or new framework and start using it. So it's easy, one point. When you do MVVM, I think the thing is like you have to work, like you have to think a lot to integrate those third-party frameworks, because they're not building these with the people will use it like with MVVM. Right? You have to like really think about it. So then coming here, the Refit. The Refit, what it does, basically what it does like magic. You know, like you want to call some endpoint, you put it here with the method, all right? And then write your method signature here. Yeah, this is interface anyway. You can't write any method. And then like we got an attribute here, so saying the body, send this with body. All right, and put everything. Well, what it will do after initializing the Refit and passing this interface, Refit will, it will call this method along with base URL. These are just appendix, suffix. Yeah, I was thinking like, all right, how am I gonna implement this to MVVM? Huh? Because you got only this, nothing else. You can't use this within your repository because it's against that principle, you know. So like you want to separate things, you want to abstract things. So in the future you can come back here and you can change this. Instead of using Refit, you can start using something else. It's really things. It's just inheriting this interface from iMobile API, and then what it does, it brings all the methods. All right, fill these methods. Yeah, you have to implement them. So in the constructor, what I did, I got the base HTTP client. It's expensive, so it's good to have one instance ready. So I updated a base URL and passed the HTTP client to Refit. This is going to resolve this interface and then pass it to you. Okay, now this like implement as an instance of iMobile API this now. When it comes to authenticate user, for example, it's just basically mobile API authenticate user async pass that method. This is like behind the scene. It's gonna call, it's gonna convert because it receives JSON. It's gonna like convert that JSON into object, and then after that it pass it to you. And what you do, like based on that like response, you act on it. You do something. My Refit here. I'm using JWT tokens to authenticate users. Like first I authenticate them and then give them the token with the expiry date on it, and then they just send me those tokens. So the app will send it, all right? But it's not like with my app. I got two categories, like two types of users. They got different tokens. Like anyone, like one person can be both. So yeah, I had to keep them separately. All right. Is it too? Yeah. Then every time I request, what I do, I just update the security token. Either it's an empty string. Obviously, the API will act on it. If it's empty strings, like it's gonna show whatever publicly available is. The magic here, like you write your interface and you do this, nothing else. And then you start calling. You can do post, you can do put, delete, patch. You can send anything, like all the strings and everything. You can pass query strings as well.
Have you found any situations it doesn't work well for?
Refit? Not really. After solving bearer token, how I change it like on the spot, on the fly, based on the user type, then now it's perfectly fine. This is Refit, and what else? I'm using a preference manager, like what James Montemagno brought. So I'm using that one, getting one instance, just basically exposing them as property. A little bit tricky here because I got two types or maybe more based on what's it called, the type. I need to change the property names, but like having a lot of, let's say here I have current security token in use, like we got workers and shop stewards and employers, but instead of having 3 here properties, what I did, I used a little bit help with let's see, with here just changing that name, the property name, and adding the little things, right? Trick. So based on this, what you see, like even though one property looks like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 based on the user. And, I started using App Center. I only use a one method truck error, nothing else right now. It's fairly new, and then also using Google Analytics. So.
Is there a reason you use both? Is it something you get from Google that you don't get from App Center?
No, marketing using Google Analytics. But the thing is, like, you can't use two, like, you can only use one crash analytics, so you can't use 2. Luckily, there's no crash analytics there, so I'm using App Center crash. Right. Yeah, nothing more, like all the animations, I got them, I have them as class, I got animation base, and I wrote my animations to trigger. I use trigger to start animations, and everything happening on the view. There's no control from view model. So animations, all the visual things, the controlling on the view. I got this one.
So what's the trigger working on?
That triggers the animations. Whatever I touch, like to that. But in here, I'll just show you. I have animations. Let's say what it does, it just it toggles like up and down basically, like increases the size from default value to up to here depending on the platform. So what it does, what it triggers, it click. When I tap, it just triggers these animations.
You must be using another library for that to do the storyboards.
Like I saw this somewhere, and then I took just these few. There's no library.
Right.
Just I took it whatever I needed. Nothing else. Like whatever there, just I only use whatever I needed. All right. I think I am done. Yeah.
With your data transfer objects, are you sharing them between the mobile app and the API app? What does it mean? That makes sense?
Yeah, because I'm building both. So instead of having two places, having is only one.
It's a dream come true.
What is this? Right. Yeah, just one DTO and the same DTO I'm using both sides because I'm controlling both. You know, don't have to worry about that. And I'm using AutoMapper on the server side. You may know that AutoMapper just maps one object to another one if it finds the matching properties based on some conventions. And yeah, I'm done.
Is there any frameworks that you wouldn't use again?
Probably all the you'll see that. I wouldn't use them. I will tell you the reason now. If you look at it here, like what's it called? There's a finger. No, I'm not sure whether they have it, but I'm using fingerprint plugin. Just make sure that if you're using fingerprints and waiting for a result, I'm gonna show you here. If I find it. Luckily, I tested it. Like my wife is using a Samsung Galaxy S8 something, and okay, let me try this with your phone. And then what it does, you're waiting for a response with iOS until you hit cancel or you successfully scan your fingerprint, then you receive a response from the method. But with Samsung, doesn't matter. Like if it fails, just returns it. I was expecting to scan it again more until you successfully scan it. It doesn't do that. So make sure that you're testing that. With these, let's say why I'm not using them, because now there's what's that called, essentials will be there, so I won't be using most of those, like cross connectivity, fingerprints, or what else. It's really different. Settings. Yeah.
That's a dumb question.
Yeah.
We have the MVVM cross guy here who did his talk a while ago.
Yeah.
Didn't he also write an animation library? And wasn't it also called
Lottie?
Yeah, so Lottie is an animation library that's created by MVVM, and he created the Xamarin bindings for it. So it's not actually a native Xamarin, but he created the bindings for it.
So when he said I did Lottie work, he's actually just put an interface on top of the air.
Just.
Oh,
Sorry, just
Make
that.
it
It just made our
sound-
lives easier,
yeah.
but yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
It's one and the same.
The same, yeah, the same.
All right. Any more questions?
I've got a question. I see you've got Poly in there.
Never use it.
Yeah, you haven't used it.
No, but I'm planning to use it.
Yeah.
So there's a time, you know, like
It strikes me
you
as
have
it would
to
be nice to wrap around Refit. You know what I mean?
already probably already someone already done that,
Yeah.
and like the Refit battery pack or something like that, power back pack or something like that. So instead of using that, using that, yeah. So but not have time to put that features in, like slowly.
Notice with your navigation, you navigate to a page rather than to a view model. Like you've still got the navigation
Yeah.
service. A lot of the hardcore MVVM or purists would say no, you should always navigate to a view model. What's your stance on that?
Really, I don't care. Which one is working, that I use it, you know, like, but yes,
So if you
subjective.
had a page with fragmented view models, like multiple view models for a page, then when you navigate to the view model, you get the associated page.
I guess if that view model didn't strictly, if you hadn't registered that view model to have a page equivalent, then you shouldn't have, then you wouldn't be able to navigate it. So like what you're meant to do in like pure MVVM, and this was much more important before we had xamarin.forms, was that when you navigate from one view model to another, you say, using the dependency injection, you say, give me the page that is associated with the login view model, and if you were on iOS, it would give you the appropriate thing, or if you're on Android, it would give you the appropriate storyboard. And that way, all your navigation can be done at the view model level, and you can have different views sitting on top of that.
And you can unit test it as well.
Yeah.
Much easier.
So I think it was really important before we had forms, but now if you're just writing the forms app, you can do it either. But then some people, because of that historical context and the unit test, they stick to that model. I don't, I just navigate to pages.
Yeah, and one thing before I stop, like you register your navigation, all the view models and pages here. You don't have to use this one, but it is good to pass that beforehand because it otherwise it's gonna go through all the reflection things and then try to find that. But if you do this like just bang bang,
Yeah.
all right, and it's like. If you start using dependency injections, you just keep injecting things, all right?
Like
And
forever.
yeah, and then suddenly you may end up with what's the circular dependency. You're like I interface A, interface B. You're just trying to reference from each other, then you end up with circular dependency, and your app will crash. This happened to me like a few months ago. Oh, make sure you don't do that.
And there's no error message. Your app's just dead.
You're crashing, and it's saying that there's a circular dependency, but it doesn't tell you where exactly you got that. But it says to you, okay. You just make sure that you don't do that. I did that. You shouldn't. Yeah, that's all.
I do like how you have all of your services behind interfaces.
Yeah.
Style of doing that.
Yeah. Yes. No, I try to follow all the best practices and then everything everywhere. So make sure that I've got a good product. So at the end, so anyone like comes after me like ended up with this and then say, oh, he did a good thing. Because yes. What the other thing is like, let's say if you're using dictionary like with like one place and it affects every pages, unless like they are not colors or specific sizes, I don't use them within like one single point. So you're messing up, like you're putting a lot of things in one place. And the maintenance like getting harder. So you put all the styles and everything to the page, even though you're using like same thing again and again, but except the colors and all the sizes, like and the fonts. And what I did like here, just I got just colors and all the sizes, nothing else, and converters as well. Just one place. I'm calling everywhere. It's good. All right. So.
Do you like Prism?
Yes, I really like it. I use on two projects. Really like it. Yeah, conventions.
Compared to use Prism MVVM or something similar?
I saw that, and the Michael was here, and I tried to use it, but couldn't like it. It depends on, like, I can use that one as well, like MVVM cross. I use that MVVM cross with native ones before xamarin.forms, like this much feature we didn't have. MVVM cross was there. Oh, I use that. Yeah, for me, to me, like if the tool is available and then it's easy to use, and they've got documentations. Yeah, I can use it. You know, it's yeah, nothing.
I've just started using Prism, and I'm actually having trouble when I create a new page or file.
Yeah.
It creates a view model. It doesn't create a page behind, and it doesn't add in the references. It's not, so I don't think I've just got it set up properly. And it could be that second.
Yeah.
The second snippet.
You know the extensions.
Yeah.
In the extensions.
Because I think they added the templates, but didn't have the second one. I don't think.
You should have the second one.
Shouldn't they have the second one?
You install the extension and then create the new project.
Yeah, this one. You only need this one.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, after you've done this, you just basically hit the view folder.
Yeah.
And
Go
add
yeah.
and a new item, because I didn't install it here. So find the Prism here. We don't have Prism here. I don't have Prism here.
Oh, okay. So I can't.
Just install it, but I can, like, there will be like Prism here,
Yeah.
and then you just open it, and then Prism forms, and then content
well,
page.
That looks good, but just not
Maybe.
stream store.
What happened to me, like, because I hit the play button, you know, build button, and I forgot it there, and nothing was happening. Because nothing was happening, I thought, okay, nothing there, just couldn't, you know, wasn't suspected. And then I did the same thing, right click, create. It didn't create anything, just one page, that's it.
Yeah.
But what it does, that template, when you create that within folder, it just register your page here.
Yep.
As well as it creates view model.
View model, that's right.
And then bind that view model to your view using
So do you do that?
this one.
So do you do that manually?
No, I use that one. As soon as I realize that it does that,
Yes.
I start using it. Yeah. So something to do with thing,
Reinstall, that's right. That's what we don't do.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I think,
I think Peter's here. So thanks for sharing.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for attention.